Welcome, surfers and surfing enthusiasts, to SoCal Surf with Dan Nappy. Well, today we did a search of the surf in Southern California from Huntington Pier all the way down to Newport Pier. So I took my bicycle and I rode to the pier first, Huntington Pier, and the waves were big, mostly walled out, a few corners here and there, not very crowded, but the water's warm. The air is warm. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful summer day. Waves, color, everything was beautiful. The waves were bigger, but not very good as far as edges. They're just walls. You take off, you do a drop, and then there's nowhere to go. And so that was on the south side. On the north side, there was a few peaks close to the pier that you could take to the right towards the pier. And then there was another left farther down about a couple hundred yards that you could go to the left and ride it for a while. So there were a little longer rides on the north side, but mostly walled up except for a corner here and there. A few more people on the north side, probably 20, which is not huge. And then it kind of faded rather quickly as you went north towards the condos. There was nobody at the condos. And again, mostly because it was walled up. Just one big wave crashing at one time, nowhere to go. So I looked down both directions, north and south, and saw a lot of big white waves, but they were just, like I said, not very peaky, just walls. And so I decided to go south to take a look at what was going on further down. So I rode on down towards Newport, and as I got towards the jetties, which is the jetties between Newport and Huntington Beach, that's when I started to see some really good surf. It was coming off the jetties mostly to the left, or right as you're looking at the water, but left as you're surfing. And they were well overhead, and just you had to be fast. You couldn't dink around. As soon as it started to break, you had to move. And if you tried to do a turn or two, you got stuck behind the whitewater. So it was really nice, very good looking towards the jetty on the north side of the jetties. There's about 4 jetties actually, but north side looked pretty good. There was one guy towards the south. He was doing okay, but it was just too fast. You couldn't make the turns. Couldn't keep up with the white. So that was really good, and it was just beautiful. I mean, the sun was out, the water was just blue, no clouds at all in the sky, and a lot of people, a lot of tourists coming into town. So I sat on the bridge and watched for a few minutes. Then I headed further south, again going towards Newport Pier, on the back road there between the sand. Well, the first road after the sand. And it was, again, not too crowded. A lot of people walking and riding their bikes. A lot of tourists, again. I saw a lot of out-of-state plates, a lot of Suburbans and pickups, loading their stuff into their house that they've rented for a week or so down at Newport, which is a lot of that at Newport. And now that just about everybody's out of school, I think everybody is out of school right now. So it's really becoming a summer flow here with a lot of tourists, a lot of people coming from inland, which they call the Inland Empire around here, which is San Bernardino, Riverside, all those areas where it's going to be over 100 degrees. So coming to the beach to cool off is what most people do this time of the year. So I see a lot of people coming in. It was still early in the morning, so it wasn't crowded yet. It's still between 8 and 9. And so I headed further south to around 36th Street is where the sidewalk starts at Newport Beach, and that's where you go towards the sand, and there's a sidewalk in front of the houses. And there you can see the surf as you're riding along. And going south still, the waves were still pretty big in the 30s, 38, 37, 36, 35, 34. Still pretty good size, but you had to wait for the sets. And when the sets came in, they were very good, head high and over. And then as you went towards the pier, the wave size just dropped down. Just every street, it seemed to drop a couple of feet. So from 34 to 24, it went from overhead to ankle, knee-high surf. And that is what I'm talking about when I say what a difference a mile makes. The Huntington Pier, between the pier and the first jetty, the waves are very, very small, very mellow, very easy to ride for beginners and young. It's really, really easier and not very threatening, so it's safer to learn how to surf down there, but the waves are very small. And then further south on the other side of the pier, it starts to build up again, starts to get bigger. And then right about 19th Street is where it starts to get hollow and breaking on a shallow sandbar. So don't surf there unless you know what you're doing. If it's shoulder or head high, you don't want to surf there unless you're experienced. So head back north. Like I say, when I took my bike back north, as soon as I passed the first jetty, the waves started to increase. And by the time I got to Lifeguard Station 34, which is also the street number, 34th Street, it was awesome. Really good looking, peaks all over the place. And then after the sets came through, then it went down to about the waist to shoulder high. And then when the sets came in, it went well overhead. But the sets were rare. It wasn't like they came in every 3 or 4 minutes. They were coming in probably every 10 minutes. So you'd have to catch a few of the smaller ones to stay busy, and then ride the bigger ones as they come in, which is difficult because you're a little further in. And if you see those big ones coming, you got to race out deeper to catch them. Sometimes you make it, sometimes you get hammered. So that's the disadvantage. Or you can sit out there and wait for the big sets, which a lot of guys were doing, and those sets were worth it. They were really big and awesome. But a lot of sun, a lot of warm water, warm air. People playing in the water. I mean, very summer-like. So Newport's crowded right now. From the pier to the first jetty's packed. Solid people in the water and on the sand. And then as you go a little further north, it starts to break up a little bit. But by noon, the beaches will be crowded all the way up to in the high 30s. So that's what summer's like down here in Southern California. So it's fun, but crowded. So, no big deal. Just do what you do. Everything's fine. Nothing to worry about. So that is all for today. I didn't see any wildlife today. No dolphins, no stingrays, no jellyfish. I didn't see anything except some dogs playing in by the jetty and chasing balls. So that's the only wildlife that there was. So surf is mellow. Oh, look, I got a text. So surf on and keep in touch. Thanks for listening. Check out our sponsors, Merch Hero, NappyClothing.com, and Task Bullet. Thanks. Bye.